Welcome back to The Anxious Creative. I'm Dawn Bradley. I'm your host, and I am so excited to be bringing you yet another amazing episode this week. You guys know, if you've been listening for a while, that I've been having guests on, and this week I have not one, but two phenomenal guests. Oh my goodness. I can't even put into words how I feel about this episode. It is so amazing. I have Nina Tulio and Mr. J Ladner on this week, and you are going to love it. If you're not familiar with them already, you're going to be best friends with them by the end of this episode. So buckle up, friend, and let's dive in. I overthink, I overshare, and I overanalyze. So come explore with me as I chat about business, life, and relationships, all through the lens of an anxious creative. All right, guys, welcome to The Anxious Creative. I've got not one, but two very special guests with me today. And I feel like I could give the best introduction, but I feel like they'll introduce themselves pretty damn awesomely. So welcome to the podcast, Nina and Jay.
Hi.
Hey.
So excited to be here.
Oh,
I am so stoked. So you guys are going to have to fight with who goes first. This is the first challenge in The Anxious Creative. But tell me, tell everyone listening a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I'll go first. My name is J Ladner. You can find me on Instagram at It's Mr. J Ladner, and I am a unicorn magician. I am the digital creative director of Oligo Professional. I also am a stylist in Los Angeles, California, and an independent educator. You can find out all my info at jladner.com, and I stand for the next generation of stylists. Oh, and don't get it twisted, I am Nina's podcast husband, and we do No Stylist Left Behind podcast.
Boom! That is the best introduction I have ever heard. Nina?
How the hell does one follow that? Okay, let me just say
fell
that.
out of my chair.
Oh my goodness. So thank you, Dawn, so much for having me. Super excited to chat with you. And my name is Nina Tulio, and I am a business consultant. I'm a former salon owner and hairstylist. I've been in this business for 24 years. I was a salon owner for 11 years, and I was a hairstylist for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And I sold my business back in 2016 to start my own venture and really travel and educate hairstylists and salon owners to build their business. So I don't teach anything at all that has to do about hair. I teach personal growth and development and also business building, obviously in this beautiful industry that we're in. So it's been quite a journey. I feel like I've been doing this for a million years, but I would not trade any moment of it. And I'm also the business education ambassador for Oligo Professional. So that's a new gig for me. Truly excited to be a part of their family as well. And yeah, I'm excited to see what, keeps coming up in our future here in this amazing industry.
That's amazing. Nina forgot to say that she's my best friend.
Important info.
Newsflash.
So good. Well, you guys have the most epic podcast ever. Tell me how you guys connected and how this relationship has turned into this amazing podcast.
Thank you. So yeah, we met about 2 years ago. We actually met at a collaboration class, and Jay ended up filling in for someone last minute, and I was on the bill to be a speaker, and it was such an amazing day. And Jay, I walked in the door, actually saw him from when I was standing outside of the door, and we just locked eyes.
Yes.
And then 5 minutes later, we were literally hyping the crowd, dancing around, getting everybody excited about the class. And then from then it's like, hey, he's like, I'm moving to Los Angeles. And I'm like, I am too, in 2 weeks. And so he ended up moving to Los Angeles, and we really started talking about doing a podcast together and, just kind of sat down. I know, Jay, your whole thing is No Stylist Left Behind. And that's why we really wanted to call it this, because we really want people to feel that they're not alone in this industry and that there really is no stylist left behind. So it really is all inclusive. And yeah, it's been about 1.5 years now that we've had the podcast. So it's been really cool.
Yeah. And I remember it was like love at first dance with Nina. It's so on brand. But I think people are placed in your life for a reason. And not only do I see Nina as like one of my best friends, but she is a mentor for my life, like more than business, more than anything. She has so much, truth and knowledge because she's worked through some things that I'm going through now. And I feel like it goes the same way, right? Like you never know what you're going to get with me, but you really know like what you're going to get with Nina. So it's like the perfect kind of duo, where it's like, don't get it twisted again. She likes to don't stop, get it like me, but, I'm more rebellious in like the way that I run. Right. And Nina, you're like more like structure.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a good balance. And I was not supposed to be there. I was not supposed to be there. And then like 4 or 5 days before I like bought my ticket to go teach.
Yeah.
So it was like, boom.
And can we just take a brief moment to admire your lovely background, Jay?
Yes. Thank you.
Where are you right now?
So I just opened up my own studio at Salon Republic in Beverly Hills, and it's where we'll be doing podcast stuff and filming, and my beautiful guest, all of them. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I just love, you guys truly are like yin yang for each other. You make beautiful magic together. And I want you guys to share, can you think back to a time where you took a really big leap in maybe your life or business, and walk me through the motions? Because I know right now, especially this year, holy crap, this year has been interesting to say the least. And we've been on this roller coaster, and people are rethinking how their businesses look, rethinking their careers. I know a lot of people have thought about leaving the industry, which breaks my heart so much, because this just overwhelming, all-consuming fear and stress and anxiety and doubt.
Yeah.
And so besides the pandemic, can you guys share a little bit about your own journeys about, getting through times and all that stuff?
So I think for me, that one of the hardest things that I've ever done. So quick backstory, at 16, I was kicked out. I was different. I was kicked out. It was like, bye, right? I didn't have my mom in my life anyways. And then my dad was like, peace out, right? Mm-hmm. So from that moment, it created a lot of trauma. But what it did do for me was not allow me to really settle into fear, because I've always had to figure it out, right? So I was always fearless, like almost, and it's still to this day, I'm very rebellious. Like I don't like being told what to do. And it's like really hard for me to like get into the groove of like following along and like, okay, these are like the parameters. I have to do things and all of that. So I'm getting better at it with age, but I've always been rebellious, and I haven't really done led with fear. I've always done something. I opened a salon in Ohio after 6 weeks of living there. I was just like, hi, everyone. And then 7 years later, I sell it, right? So then my biggest struggle that I think I've ever gone through, and I thought that I was going to be a little Gucci coming, was to LA. So I sold everything and I moved my whole life. But what happened was, I still was going through trauma, and I was still going through pain, and I was still going through this self-exploration. And I didn't have the one person in my life who was my security blanket, and that was my husband. He was still in Dayton. So with that being said, when I moved here, I thought I had a plan, that I was going to align myself with fellow humans that I thought were beside me 100%, that had the best, plan with me. And what I realized is I was getting lost in the old ways from when I first met my husband, the same things, going out and partying, like spending my money on stupid shit, like blowing money, being like even though I had all this amazing stuff happening around me, in the background when no one was looking, it was a shit show. And the only people who knew it was a shit show was Vince and Nina. Everyone else on the Instagram, everyone else in my life thought it was just so all Gucci. I was shopping at Gucci, getting every bag, right? But what they didn't know is that I was allowing myself to be around people and things because I didn't know my worth and I forgot it. So I allowed myself to adapt and degress, right, into what they were doing. Everything that did not align with who I was as a human and what I experienced, I just allowed myself to sink into that. So my biggest struggle was actually leaving everything behind and selling it to start a new beginning here in LA. And it doesn't matter about my followers. It doesn't matter about anything because I talked to stylists, right? So I wanted to be a hairstylist and not a salon owner. So I had to build as well when I only talked to hairstylists. So I think that transition, but you surround yourself with people who are like-minded. You work on yourself, you do the work, right? And you stay optimistic. Like I stay optimistic and I'm a manifesting like unicorn. Like I set myself like my goals onto something, I know that I can move out of it. So that would be mine, just coming to LA and trying to find my rhythm. But I think I'm getting there.
Yeah, I love that. Nina?
I would say the hardest thing that I've been through some things. The hardest thing that I will share today is probably the sale of my salon. It was really tough for me because I had that business for 11 years and my team, my team members were with me some 6 years, some 4 or 5 years. It was a really hard transition. I stopped doing hair so I could sell the business. So it was a 2-year progression. And I loved my clients and I loved my team, but I knew that I wanted more. I knew that I wanted to travel. I knew I didn't want to be behind the chair. And we were also planning on moving. My husband was getting another job and it was going to be outside of the state. So the plan was to move to the South where it was warmer. And then my husband comes home one day and said, "Hey, I have this amazing job opportunity and it's in Connecticut." I was like, what the hell happened to the palm trees? Because there are no palm trees in Connecticut. But I took one for the team because I really wanted him to be able to grow in his career. And I knew that in order for us to for me to sell my business and take a step back and really start working on my own consulting business, financially, it was a great move. And so we moved to Connecticut, left our friends and family behind into a place that we knew no one. I sold my business, knew everything I knew, which was my team and my clients, that was gone by my choice, but it was still very hard. And the biggest thing that was the hardest for me was that I wasn't busy anymore. I didn't have things to distract me and I didn't have things to keep my mind busy. So even though I was planning this new business that I have now, I still wasn't working every day. I wasn't going to the salon every day. I wasn't doing clients. I wasn't coaching my team. I wasn't going to events. I wasn't sitting on the board. I wasn't doing all these things. And let me tell you, after probably 4, 5, 6 months, shit just hit the fan and I had a major breakdown. And all of the things that I tried to suppress and push down and all of the pain and all of the trauma and all of the hurt, it was like, hello, it was right in my face and I had nowhere to go. It was really exposed and it was a very vulnerable time for me. And I remember going through, I talked about this horse ranch, but this thing was such a powerful moment for me. I went to Arizona and went to this horse ranch to get some healing. And that started to spiral me into some deeper and darker traumas that happened when I was a kid. And I went into a really deep depression. Now, I was showing up every day on Facebook. I was showing up every day on Instagram. I was teaching. I was going out into salons. I was still doing the same thing. But there were days that I couldn't really get out of bed. and I didn't know what to do. And I had my therapist who was back in Pennsylvania, and she was on vacation, and I couldn't get a hold of her. And I just lost my shit. And I looked at my husband one night, we were out for pizza, and I said, I don't know what to do. I said, I really think I need to check myself into a facility. And he said, what do you mean? What kind of facility? What do you mean? I said, I need mental help. I need someone to tell me how to get well, because this pain, I can't live like this anymore. So I can't find my therapist. So I think I'm going to have to check myself in. And he was like, okay, well, whatever you have to do, we'll do it. And then the next day, my therapist ended up emailing me, and she ended up getting me back on track. And I laid everything out for her. We went through a session. She sent me on the right track. I did journaling, and I, continued with my therapy and went on this path. But man, it was really tough. So that whole year for me with selling my business, losing my team, and thank God I'm still in touch with my team. I love them. But losing all of that stuff, I actually realized that I really lost myself. And so I had to get myself back. So that was probably one of the hardest years of my life.
I love that you share that, because you were saying how, like, when all of a sudden you had the time, stuff started to come up. And one thing that I've said quite a bit is, like, as stylists or as people in the industry, we're addicted to being fully booked.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so when things slow down, even if, like, and I kind of going off on a little bit of a tangent, but even when, like, people raise their prices and they see some gaps and they think, my business is falling apart, when they actually go do the math, it's totally fine.
Right.
Yeah.
But we're addicted to being fully booked. And I'm curious, and I'm going out on a limb here, but, like, I know I've struggled with being a workaholic. I've found my identity and my value in how much I can do. And I remember someone asking me this question and really struggling to answer. And I want to see how you guys feel about this is, can you, like, who are you stripped with the beauty industry stripped away? What's your identity?
I love that question.
Can you answer? Because I struggle to answer that. And I'm curious what you guys, like, whether you can find an answer, or what are your thoughts when you hear that? Like, strip away the beauty industry from who you are, and who is Nina and who is Jay?
I love this, and I'm ready. And you know why I'm ready?
Yeah.
Because I went through that whole situation where I lost myself. And I think that we are such an industry and just a society that really puts so much weight on what you do for a living. And my life was my business. My life was my team. My life was building a business. My life was success. And that's what happened. It all got stripped away. And so I had to kind of find myself. But I really, at my core, who I am, it doesn't have to do with anything I have. It doesn't have to do with, anything that I do in my business. It has to do with the way that I treat other people and how I can relate to them. So for me, I feel like it's connection. I feel like I'm a good connector. I'm a very empathic person. I can relate to a lot of people. I'm very kind. I'm very compassionate. I feel like my purpose here is to really make an impact on people. I just get to do it in this industry. I could do it in any other industry if I really wanted to, because I feel like the gift isn't that I owned a salon or that I was a hairstylist or any of those things. The gift is my experience in life and what I have gone through and the pain and the things that I have overcome. And so I think that I'm just a good person that is just really willing to share and be vulnerable to help other people heal and get well. That would be my answer.
And I totally agree with you. I have my answer too. And I got really excited. I was like, "Ooh, let's go." But I think I am a facilitator of light, because I just know the dark. Like, I know it. I can navigate in the dark because I've been there for a long time, right? But I am also a father, and I also am a husband. And everything I do is because I want Vince and our kids, to never experience a trauma I went through, ever. So everything I do, whenever I wake up, it's to make sure that there's not ever going to be an ounce or a drop of pain that I went through. Yes, they're going to experience their own pain. They'll have their own trauma. But the ones that I went through, it stops here with me. It stops. They will never know what that is. And then they'll work on their stuff that they find right later in life. But the things that I went through that was so, they have fathers that will never leave, right? They have fathers who will never abuse them. Like, they have fathers that are raving fucking fans. Bo.
I love that. And that kind of almost answers my next question. I was going to say, like, what is your biggest motivator in life and in business? And I don't know, Jay, if that already you answered that.
Yeah, I think, and I want to say also my biggest motivator is me. Like, I'm finding through my experience right now in the space that I'm in that I'm first, or I can't be that. You know what I mean? Like, I can't be the bestest friend to Nina. Like, I can't be the perfect husband or you know what I mean? Or father or industry leader. Like, I'm realizing that it starts with me. Like, I have to be my biggest motivator, right, Nina?
Yeah. I mean, I think, when I think about, because you think about motivation almost like your why, like what really motivates you to get out of bed every day, right? I think about my family, and I think about my husband and our dogs, because I'm a dog mom, and like they're our life. And I think about a lot of the sacrifice that my husband made in order for me to go after my dreams.
Wow. Yes.
I really think about that a lot, because a lot of the reason why he wanted to take another job outside of Pennsylvania was to allow me to chase my dream of what I'm doing now. And so, I really think of that every day, and I'm so grateful. And I think about my family and my nephews, and, I think about my friends and people that I've had. I mean, most of my friends I've been friends with for 25 years.
Yeah.
But honestly, when we strip it down, when I wake up and my feet hit the ground and I'm ready to go to work, everybody who shows up for me, my audience, my people, they motivate me. They're my why into why I show up every single day.
Yeah.
Their pain, their struggles behind the chair and in life inspire and motivate me to show up every day and share my truth. So it's kind of both ways for me.
Whoa, I'm fired up.
I love that. And like, honestly, the one thing I think the main thing that draws me to both of you guys is, and I know it's such a buzzword right now, but is your authenticity, your genuinity. That works, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's not a real word, it works. Genuinity. But honestly, like, I feel like what you see is what you get, and like that you guys are the most kind-hearted people that don't have ulterior motives, and that shows. And I think that's why people are drawn to you guys separately and together as your podcast. So to kind of shift gears, I'm just curious, like, what's something that most people wouldn't know about you?
Oh my God.
Who wants to go first? What's one thing when no one's around? Like, either something no one knows about you, or maybe your guilty pleasure, or like, what are you doing when no one's around looking?
Okay, so
just to put you guys completely on the spot.
I'm like, but I think people know this. I really think that maybe they don't know that I actually wish I was I'm not gonna lie, like Carrie Underwood. Everyone knows, like, I will don't stop, get it, and do the WAP on Instagram, and like, just, you know what I mean? But like, my roots are country. Like, my roots are Southern, and like I love like that hospitality. Does that make sense? Like there's like I actually like chilling and being like comfy. And I mean, look at me right now. Like I have a blanket on. Like I like that. So I think even though everyone knows me as this like energetic and like don't stop, get it. Yes, that's authentically me. Like I wake up, Nina knows. She woke up with me in Montreal. I'll wake up like, let's go. But I also like those moments where I can just be free. You know what I mean? And like that down home, like Rudy feeling.
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
I know, because
I feel like I share so much of my life. So it's like people know I love to dance. They know I love music. They know I love my dogs. I'm trying to think, you know, I do share a lot of my life.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something maybe that people don't know, like from my past, which I
go there.
Ooh.
Do it.
No, it's not even juicy. Let's not get crazy, but it's so funny. So I was the drum captain in my middle school band.
Nina, I didn't even know that.
Marching band, I'm just picturing.
I was so, and let me tell you, I was a bossy bitch because I was like, you're not in step. You're not in step because you know you have stripes down the side of your pants and they all have to match, you know, when you're walking. But yes, I was the drum captain. So my dad played drums. My brother plays drums. I used to play the drums like a full drum kit, but I played snare in my marching band in middle school, and then I became the drum captain. So that's the only thing that I could think of, like people wouldn't really know that about me. But other than that, like I'm pretty open now for my life. But yes, drum captain, here I am.
And Nina was in percussions while I was clarinetter.
Me too.
Were you?
Yes. And then in high school, I was in show choir. Like I was in band in like middle school, and I was actually really good at the clarinet. And then when I went to high school, I was like, I'm going to be a singer. And I was like in like theater.
I love it. Oh
we should make a beauty industry band, like orchestra.
Oh my gosh. Are you ready?
Do you still have your clarinet, Jay?
Lead us. Yeah, I think I can still do it.
Listen.
I found mine actually at my parents' house, and I could not. I used to compete with my clarinet.
Get out.
Like go to competitions, and then I put it together, and I didn't know how to play it. Like I've completely lost it.
Oh my, well, we'll have to practice, but let me tell you, I can still play my cadence. I still remember my cadence from walking, yes, from the band. And I watched line like 350,000 times.
I'm getting you you have a drum at your house?
No.
I'm getting
Oh my gosh, that should be your next reel. Like you should have like the drum.
Yes! Oh my God, please.
That's so good. I should do that. Like one thing you didn't know about me, but like.
Let me find. That's why it makes so much sense why you love beats. Like you love like that sound.
Yep.
Wow. You learn something new every day.
Look at that. Boom.
I love that. So I love just getting to know people and like what makes them tick. And thank you guys for appeasing me in that. I'm curious, like you guys, like I love seeing behind the scenes and like what things you're into that nobody knows, but also like the drivers of like what's gotten you to where you are and what keeps you going. I'm curious, I know you guys have been through some really highs and lows of what you've shared in this short period of time. How do you prepare yourself knowing that there's going to be hills and valleys in the future? And how do you set out to know that you've been through so much, you know that you can get through what's coming, but knowing that there are going to be shitstorms that you're not prepared for? How do you prepare for the unprepared?
I got this one.
Yes.
Boo. So here's the thing that I've learned. Mindset is everything.
Yes.
And when you've gone through things, you look back and you say, if I have gone through that and I made it, I know that I can make it through anything else. So a lot of it has to do with mindset and perspective. And we can look at things that are going on in our lives and say, man, this sucks so bad. Or we can look at it and say, wow, this is an opportunity for me to make change. So it really is about perspective and mindset. So I think in terms of planning, right? Because life is never perfect. It's never rainbows and butterflies. There's always something. And I think that it is understanding that if you've made it through one tough time, you can make it through it again. It's being flexible. One thing that I wasn't before was flexible. I was very, very regimented and structured because I have control issues, which we've discovered in our podcast, in talking with Dawn, is that, you know, and then I met my mentors and I met Ray and Robin and started traveling with Robin and like on a whim, like, Neen, you want to go to Vegas tomorrow? And before I'd be like, I need to like plan my whole life for a week before we even do that. She's like, get your shit packed. We're leaving. So like, she really taught me how to be flexible and kind of go with the flow. And so I think it's mindset. It is really setting yourself up to win. It's always working on self, making time for self, and really knowing that you are bigger than your problems. That's probably the biggest thing. You are bigger than your problems.
Let me find out.
I love that.
Oh, Nina, I'm just over here like, yup, she said it. Rewind it, play it again. No, but I think like everything Nina said, and I just live by 2 words: adapt to your surroundings, adapt, and evolve to what's next. Just be open. It's like once you get fixated on one thing, the one problem, you're blind, and everything you ever need to see is always right in front of you.
I love that.
Just trust your credibility in life.
Mic drop. Yes, I love that.
Yeah. What the best way I can sum up that is be stubborn about your goals, but flexible about your approach.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You better put that on a shirt and sell it. Can you say that again?
Yeah. Be stubborn about your goals, but flexible about your approach.
Honestly,
that's one of the biggest things that I've learned over, you know, the 19 years in this industry. And we chatted on your guys' podcast about control and how I crave to control things. But the moment that I just surrendered was when I realized, like, I know what I'm moving towards. There can be roadblocks. There can be diversions. Like when I'm driving down the road and there's a detour, I don't just park my car there and go, well, shit, I'll just wait here until the detour goes away. Right? Can you imagine? And like, just like look at the sign and be like, look, it's a detour.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, this is a detour. I'm just going to fixate on this detour. Why the hell is this detour here? This is the way I go to work. This is how I get there. This is the way I'm supposed to happen. Why is this we just detour and we go around it. And so that being stubborn about where I'm getting to, but flexible about my approach.
I love it.
You guys are so freaking amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Can I be like an honorary member of your duo and become a trio?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Get your clarinet.
Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for.
I love it. You're gonna I'm gonna be in your dreams tonight. Where can people connect with you guys more? Because I know there's people listening to this that are like, Nina and Jay are my new best friends, and I need to go stalk the shit out of them. So how do they find you?
You're so sweet. Thank you so
Take it
much,
away,
Dawn,
babe.
for your kind words. Yes, you can find me on Instagram. I live there permanently. I am on my DMs and on my gram literally almost every second of the day. So it's just my name. So at Nina Tulio, you can find me right on Instagram. And if you have any questions, please slide into my DMs. I answer every single DM, and I would really love to hear from you.
And you can find me on Instagram at It's Mr. J Ladner. And you can listen to our podcast on Anchor, Spotify, and iTunes. And it is called No Stylist Left Behind.
I love that. I am so behind your guys' mission and your goals. And I wish you all the continued success in your joint and solo ventures. You guys are amazing.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see what's coming up next for you guys. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Woo! See, I told you you're going to be best friends with them by the end of this episode. Aren't they amazing people? If you haven't already gone and subscribed to No Stylist Left Behind, go do yourself a favor, listen to their podcast, follow them on Instagram, dive into their offerings. They are such amazing, genuine, authentic people that I am so lucky to call friends. So thank you again, friend, for being here, for listening, for joining in on this podcast. It means the world to me. If you could like, subscribe, and share this with your friends, that would be the best compliment. Until next time, take care, friend. Bye.